will upscale it because it does love it.
So then there's different frequencies of LED lights. There's different colors of LED lights.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I think there's a bit of mystery around what they do, how they do, what is going on there.
Yeah. I love talking about this actually because people have been around it.
I know that.
Well, because people don't know. It shocks them when they don't know. They just go on TikTok or Amazon and buy some dodgy product which is not going to work.
Yeah.
But very basically, the story is genius. Just let a lot of interventions happen. They either happen by mistake or they start as one thing and end up in another.
Yeah.
And this was NASA. So when they sent man to the moon, the first few times, the astronauts were bashing around in zero gravity. They were cutting themselves, breaking things, and they weren't healing.
Right.
Which would make sense when you're in zero gravity and there's no oxygen. So they didn't really heal until they came back down to Earth.
Because there's no, the blood flow is changing.
No oxygen, which will kickstarts regeneration.
Right.
So really, really slow healing. And then some bright spark on the second mission thought, I wonder if we could go grow plants in space, like you do, randomly.
Yeah.
And he thought, well, the only way I can kind of figure it out is I've got to mimic photosynthesis. So he built a bunch of light bulbs, which were the same kind of colour, and he thought the wavelength of the sun to here would be kind of right. Wasn't particularly sure. And if you Google it, you can actually see the spaceship, and in the corner there's a big red box where the plants are growing inside it. So they went up to space, and the astronauts were doing the same thing, bashing around, hurting themselves, but they were healing at unbelievable speeds. And NASA was like, what's happening? What have I done? What's different? This is weird. And when they came down to Earth, they had to analyse the difference between these things, and the only thing that was different was this light bulb in the corner. So at that point, LED was born. So NASA went into huge studies behind it, and it was then released with full FDA, full everything, for wound healing and pain management.
And pain management?
Yeah, amazing for pain management.
Really?
So to this day, it's used in hospitals for psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, severe burns, severe wounding. They'll put it on over the top because it kickstarts blood supply. So how it works is you've got all these different colours. FYI, there are only two.
Okay, go on.
Yellow, purple, green, orange, sky blue, pink. No evidence whatsoever. Some say it's soothing. Some say it's like, oh, no, it's not. So the blue one is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antibacterial. So it's very superficial.
Right.
So would be used more for acne-related situations.
Right.
The red and near infrared. Have you got the skin? So the skin's here, the top of the skin's here, the bone's here.
Yeah.
Red will go to like here.
Halfway.
Near infrared goes down here.
So near infrared is
right the way
bit.
through.
Yeah.
So they're the colours we can't see with the naked eye.
Okay.
Which would be scary if we could. Goes all the way down. So as it's going through the skin, it goes down to the point where all the blood supply and the tissue and all that stuff is, and it kickstarts something called anagenesis, or more blood. So it brings blood from the bottom up, which means more blood, more healing, more oxygen, more nutrients. So you're doing everything here, but LED goes down here, and you can't do anything down there without a scalpel or a very long needle.
Right.
Which will have other dramas attached to it, but this goes down, and it's like you feel nothing. There's no heat. That's a bit why some people go, does it work though?
Yeah.
Because people expect pain or something, something that's rejuvenatory. But I've seen people who've huge gaping cuts for various reasons, had it stitched up, put it under the LED every day. 10 days to 2 weeks later, the surgeon can't see or the doctor can't see where he cut.
So it's purely based on manipulating or directing or encouraging the blood flow from different spots. That's the whole purpose behind that.
Blood is everything.
Yeah.
It carries everything that we need. So when you're, and it's very difficult to make it happen naturally. But I mean, that's why sun can be good for you, because it is also going that deep.
Right. Okay.
On certain of them, maybe slightly above, but it's still there, and that's why we go, but in a bad way. Which is going right down there. As I said, the macrophages are obsessed with photons, obsessed. Okay. So, and we're just pummeling millions at them. So they're just laying back and sunbathing in these photons, having a lovely time and rebuilding their battery.
Yeah.
They have to be done 3 or 4 times a week to have at maximum ability to work. But the problem is, and why anyone would not do this, I don't know, is by following an FDA. And I'm not FDA needs it kind of person, but there are certain things it's absolutely mandatory. So if you're breaking the skin or you're making any claims whatsoever, it's got to have an FDA behind it. But that means...
Clarify for everyone, FDA?
Federal Drug Administration. So that's US.
Yeah.
England has a different one, Australia has a different one, but FDA always seems to be like some kind of benchmark.
Right,
everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
But the NASA, in all that incredible research they did, realized the depths,
right,
the nanometer depth. And that's it in a nutshell. So if you...
Is it depth related to the frequency or the number?
All
right?
of it, yeah.
Okay.
So you've got 680, which is kind of 420 blue, 680 red, 110, 120 deeper. And if you go, for example, the blue, if you've got like 480, 486 could cause ocular issues, 482 could blind you over time. So people are
careful.
Yeah, and it's like this silly light bulb that people think is easy. I mean, it'll be very difficult to do that, but long-term use it can.
Yeah.
So those cheap devices make you wear goggles.
Right.
With the real ones that've got the FDA and got the right nanometer depth, you don't need to wear goggles at all.
Right.
Because they actually regenerate, they help, they're supporting.
Right.
The other ones aren't.
Yeah.
So don't, buy cheap, buy twice. It's definite with those sorts of things. It really is. And it's a thing called the inverse square law. I'm not going off on one now, which tells you everything you need to know. So the inverse square law is the closer you are to something, the more powerful it is.
Yes.
So if you got your lamp and you stand right in front of it, it's like blinding you. But as you go away, the photons of that light are getting further and further away from you. And the sun does exactly the same thing.
Right.
So the closer to the sun, you burn up, right? The far away, they're not.
Yeah.
That's what happens with sun, but it also happens with LED. So their ability to figure out that where does it need to sit, like here, because obviously if it's here, it makes sense. It's going to be much less powerful.
Yes.